let's talk about Arsenal, because at the first half, in half-time, you said, I want to see that grit, I want to see that determination, and they were able to prove that and show that in the second half.
They're in a tough spell. There was no denying that. To not be on a winning streak is not where a club wants to be at, especially going into a Champions League game against a top Real Madrid side. But I think the half-time chat for me had to be on urgency. They'd let Real Madrid into the game. They made it very difficult defensively, Real Madrid, for sure. But still, Arsenal were expected to go and get a result. They needed it for morale, for character within that dressing room, so it's credit to them. They did step up. I don't think it was a perfect game by any means. I think Real Madrid had a lot of chances that I think Arsenal will look back on and reflect and still have areas to improve on. But when you've got a player like Alessia Russo that can bang in headers like that, you know you're onto a better chapter. So hopefully this can be the change of run for them.
Russo had a great game. Player of the match for me, but I think it's an unfortunate result for Real Madrid. I don't think 2-1 is a fair result. I think Real Madrid stuck to their principles. They had an identity off the ball. Defensively, they were compact. They were tight. Offensively, Weir scored that goal when she needed to. I think Arsenal got a bit lucky on that second goal. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Seems like you said...
Could have been a little bit of a knock.
It could have been a little bit of a knock. Her foot gets caught on.
Like a little stamp, caught feet.
Yeah, but that's part of football. It's in those little details. Yep. And sometimes you have to take advantage of moments like that, and Arsenal did that.
And you said with Real Madrid that it's going to be a disappointing loss to them. That's obvious because they've got 0 points. But did we really expect them to go to Arsenal and win?
Based on, I think, Arsenal's performance today,
why not?
I think they did not underestimate Real Madrid. I think they knew that it was going to be a very even matchup. But for Real Madrid, they're the underdogs. We talked about it earlier. They're playing without pressure. But the way that they have been performing, I think they deserve to be considered one of the best teams in Champions League right now.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think, look at the goals that Arsenal scored. They were off set pieces. It's those finite moments that as a defender, when you turn off for a second, it's advantageous for the attacker to come in. But Real Madrid in the run of play were solid. They were good. They locked out Arsenal. They didn't really have a response. They didn't have a shot on target in the first half. I think Real Madrid to be very, very proud of their performance. It's unfortunate. Those things like set pieces, you can look back, watch the film, know the quick, easy fix of what you're going to do next time, how you're going to be better on defense, where you're going to rotate if you're getting picked or whatever it's going to be. But I think I'm still not convinced with Arsenal. It's always the story, even last Champions League, where they're clawing back from behind to get back into a game, whether it's in this league phase. Last year it was in the home and away. They ended up taking advantage of the second match and coming back after they were down a couple of goals. I think that story needs to change for them, and I hope that this match kickstarts that, but it's not enough. I still think, they're looking ahead to play 20. If you're 20, you can take down Arsenal. This is a side that you look like you can pick up points against, and Arsenal just needs to turn it around.
I think these last couple of match days as well, we've been questioning that leadership role in this Arsenal side. Did Alessia Russo prove today that she's won the Euros with England, she's won the Champions League with Arsenal, she's a champion, she's a winner, and for her to get those 2 goals today shows that she's stepping up into that leadership role. She was great today.
Yeah, Russo, for me, is a player that leads by example by how she plays. She's not the most vocal. She's quite quiet in character. But this is just a prime example that grit and determination, we kind of said about it. I think this was quite a physical game. I think Real Madrid were really compact centrally and didn't allow Arsenal to really get into a flow. And that's when corners become so important, free kicks become so important. But look at her, she reminds me of the goals we saw with Ada Hegerberg recently in matchday 3, when you have a number 9 in the box where it's compact, it's condensed, you have people around you that you need to be physical with, gain that yard with your body. Sometimes it isn't the perfect pass or the perfect ball in the box or beautiful football. Sometimes goals in games are ugly, and that maybe was almost a little bit ugly for Arsenal, not the perfect game whatsoever.
Yeah, and like you said, Darren, we saw this kind of messy, gritty Arsenal last season, and look what they went on to go win.
Yeah, I mean, this is massive, and I brought this up over the weekend. We were talking about NWSL with Kelley and Ali, but I had a coach that told me, always, when you're an attacker, always be optimistic. Always think that it's going to work out for you if you just get yourself in the right position. It's going to come to you. And then as a defender on the other side, always think pessimistic. It's not going to work out. Worst case scenario, do your best to just get the ball out of there as cleanly as you can. And I think Alessia Russo was being very optimistic. I mean, those weren't the most perfect service to come in. She had a defender on her. She looks confident. And I think she's even spoken about, her dips in confidence as a striker and knowing her role. And the fact that she's starting off the campaign in the Champions League looking this strong, I think can be the turning point for Arsenal, knowing that they have someone they can rely on. Hey, the game's ugly. If we send a ball in with some quality, we know that she's going to be able to get on the end of it. But everyone else has to be in lockstep. The other phases of the game have to catch up to them being really good on set pieces.
I also think as well with this Arsenal win, it wasn't just important because they want to get their campaign back on track, but they're going into an international window now, Janelli, and they've ended it. They've gone into this window now on a high with these 3 points to hopefully build on it when they get back.
Yeah, I think this was huge for Arsenal. I think both teams needed the 3 points, but Arsenal needed it a little bit more. Real Madrid is still sitting 6 on the table. Arsenal's just below them. But I think also when you go into an international break and you're not playing matches with your club for a few weeks, that could also bump your momentum a bit.
Yeah.
So Arsenal has to make sure that they stay locked in with what's next.
I also think they need the refresh, though. I think they need
I think so too.
to put these 3 points to bed, knowing they don't have, I don't think they have a game at the weekend before it goes into the international.
No, they don't.
So for me, it's like going into that international break and just take a breath. You have another focus. I think it's a really difficult place to be when you're playing at a top club and you're not winning back to back. Sometimes it's pointing for, morale's low. So I think this was the best possible thing for Arsenal that could have happened going into a break. Because now, end on a win, go and focus into international, refresh mentally, focus on other things and come back ready to go again.
And they've got more favourable fixtures in matchday 5, Twente and Leuven, so that goes in their favour as well, Darian.
Hey guys, don't write off
Leuven.
Don't write them off.
Twente.
Yeah, I think these are two teams as well that have gained confidence throughout the Champions League so far, and Arsenal has wavered very much. So if you're a Twente, if you're a Leuven, we're loving you, we're walking with you. I think that this is a team that you approach and you think, we can fight. We can come and play our best match against the reigning champions. And when you have a big target on your back, like Arsenal do from last season, it's tough to play teams that you normally wouldn't rate that much going up against them. But I think this pressure is very, very heavy from winning it last season.
And with Real Madrid, they've got Wolfsburg and Twente. What can we expect? Do you think they're kind of set for the knockout round? Or do you think it could come down to the last day?
I think it could come down to the last day based on results we've seen today so far. But for Real Madrid, I'm not worried about them.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the game, it was like minute 80, and they were still high pressing Arsenal when they could. What I love about them is just they're establishing this identity. They lose a ball in the final third, their pressure, their ability to press immediately is something that I think few teams have. And Real Madrid has that identity. They have that resilience. So I think they're going to be okay going into next match day.
Yeah, I think they're establishing themselves as a team that people don't really want to go and play this year, definitely. Great win for Arsenal, though, against Real Madrid.